This is hard work, this is determination, this is focus, this is dedication, still on a mission. Put your family on your back, what legacy are you leaving behind? What family are you building? What kind of building can you never see within? Black business movement, this is what we do. Build and continue to build.
Welcome everyone to the Black Business Warrior.
Welcome. My name is Clive Morrison.
I'm Javon Green, and we got a guest in the background, a homie Kaifus.
Kaifus, all right.
2023, we in the building.
New year, but it's still the same thing, just another progress, right?
Talk about it.
Nothing. A lot of people think about change, and I'd be like, nah, it's progress, right? Because if you flip your whole situation that you was doing, right, you change it. That's how we don't get consistent.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm gonna change this and change that. Now there is things to change because if your diet is bad, you change. If you run a business, but your restaurant, you just want to improve it, right?
Absolutely.
Black Business Warrior podcast, we just want to improve it.
Absolutely.
So
it's not necessarily changing, it's progress. But you feel like whenever we go into the new year mentality, it's like resolution. You got to change something. So you're like throwing away the old and bringing in the new one. It's like, no, every day you look to see how you can get better.
Yeah, it's incremental improvements. Because it's like, even this space right here, when we first started, right, it just wasn't that much, right? You know what I'm saying? And now you've improved it so much, right?
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, brother. I appreciate you see the improvement.
Oh, definitely. I always notice it. And the little touches. But think about this. Think about if you say, yo, it's a new year, I'm going to overhaul everything.
Throw everything away.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Instead of making incremental improvements.
Wow.
So, yeah, we think about change a lot, and we don't think about improvement. So it's very difficult to just say, hey, how can I get better at what I'm doing, and not just saying and not just changing everything.
What about measuring that type of improvement or that progress? Like, what's a good because I'm thinking if we say every 12 months, right? There's this measurement stick, right? What about every week or every month? Like what are realistic measuring tools or measuring sticks that we can use to gauge progress or gauge improvement? Is it numbers based? Is it quality based? Or is it both?
Well, it depends on what your goal is.
Okay.
Right? It depends on what you're trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. If give me an example of something that you want to achieve, something that somebody would want to achieve.
Making more money. That's an easy one. Let me make it a little more challenging.
Yeah. That's still vague though, because we want to come back and say, because
how much more money
and what and how are you going to make that money, right? What do you actually want to make that money in, right? Because now you have a broad. It's like, yo, all right, now if I say, yo, I just want to make more money, it's like I could get a side hustle, I could start a business, I could increase my paycheck, right? There's a lot of things that you could do to get more money.
So you think that's a problem in terms of being vague like that, because then you just invite too much shit in your head, kind of a thing.
Well, you can't get the activities you need, right? So I can take any one of those. Let's say you want to get a bigger paycheck, right?
Yes.
There's actually activities that you can think about what I want to do to get a bigger paycheck, right? You can say, hey, you know what? All right, you can have a conversation with your employer, and you can say, all right, I want to get a raise. What do I have to do to get a raise? Yeah. And now you can say, hey, you know what? You need to work 2 extra hours a day, and you need to be able to execute these tasks or projects, right? Yeah. If you can get those accomplished in the next 90 days, then I can give you a raise at this amount of price. Now you can have quantifiable activities that you can do every day. You can say, okay, I know I have to make that this project. How do I break that project down? What do I have to do every day to get that project? Mm-hmm. And you can start measuring yourself if you're talking about just becoming to get that raise.
There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go.
That's just one thing. If you have a business, how much money you want, right? How much, if you want to say, hey, how do I expand revenue? But just getting more money, as we know in business, you can get $1 million, right? Make more money, right? And you can have 10 times the headache. Is that worth it?
No, I think there is that law of like diminishing returns. Mm-hmm. There's a threshold essentially where it's like, man, like, we know when we hit that ceiling, right? Because you make that $1 million, but how much did it cost you to make that $1 million? What more did you have to do productivity wise? Store just everything depending on your business, like you were saying. What did you have to do to make that, and is it worth it? Essentially, so more headaches doesn't add up. Like even though you're making more money, you got more headaches.
Exactly. So are you willing to take that headache? Because you may have to. My schedule is 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Right? That's my schedule. And I say that to say to people, I said, that's not everybody's schedule. People don't want that schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I have a different thing that I'm trying to do to get to I have that schedule. Other people don't want that. So you have to think about the life that you want to live and how you want to. You're like, I just want to work 9 to 5. Is it worth it to you to work 5 to 9 or even 24 hour, whatever it is, right? That you say, hey, I have the schedule. Is it worth it to you to accomplish these goals? I don't have a day off, but do you want a day off? Do you, some people want 3 days work weeks. Mm-hmm. You got Tim Ferriss. He takes
got whole
4
books. Yeah, that's the
4-hour work week, right?
Yeah.
So you have people that strive for different things. You have to understand what results you want. I never tell people what they should do. I always say, what do you want to accomplish? And then let's figure out how to get there.
Yeah. That makes sense, Kuipers, pretty much?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Just based off what he's talking about so far, yeah, I can follow it.
Because my thing is, we've been taught to work hard. Mm-hmm. Or like don't be lazy, because if you're not working, then you're lazy.
Yeah, true.
But then how do you define work? You get what I'm saying? Like, how do you define productivity? Mm-hmm. Is it just being busy? You get what I'm saying? Because that's not what it is.
No.
Because being busy, we know, don't necessarily equate to whatever you want in life. Like you just, yeah.
Nah, when I was locked up, we used to have this thing, right, where they just go out there and they had it the stump, right? Yeah. And the stump, you would just go out there and you would chop the stump. and then I said chop the stump. The stump was out there. You put the dirt on the stump. Yeah. And then you would come back and take the dirt out, right? Now I know, and the reason why I'm saying this story is because it was a lot of work, right? But nothing was being accomplished, right? There was nothing being achieved, and I'm saying people are out here doing that, right? They're shuffling papers, they're looking at email, they're just digging the hole and putting the dirt back over there, and then you say, yo, what have you done? What has been accomplished? Mm-hmm. Well, I was at my computer all day. I made phone calls and I've checked emails, and I'm saying, but were they the right activities?
Exactly.
So we have to start measuring the right activities. And when we say, hey, we make a plan, we execute, and then we review. Is it really working?
So what's that gem you can drop? Because a lot of times people say, well, I got to make that phone call. I got to, write that email or answer the email in order to achieve what I want to achieve, right? Is there a better way to even go about doing that? Now, I know there's better ways, right? Hire someone that loves doing that, because for me personally, like, my time has to be focused on growing the people around me, because I know I'm responsible for so much people. But if I'm on the phone with one person or making an email, then I can't really get about the business or get out my space and like really grow how I need to grow, essentially.
So the thing about that is, you're correct. The only problem is a lot of people, they get away from the email work. So let's say the email work is $5 an hour, right? Yeah. Or $10 an hour. They don't replace it with something that's making them $20 an hour. Yeah. Right? You have to be able to say, okay, you know what? I'm hiring somebody, and the work that they're doing is $10 an hour. So now I'm doing $40 an hour activities. Exactly. $50 an hour activities. Exactly. Can you show that you're actually doing this activity? Yeah. And the other point is that sometimes it doesn't happen right away. You may start paying somebody a $10 activity, and you're losing money, right? Because you haven't.
You got to train, you got to develop, that person has to get into.
You have to train yourself and develop yourself also. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To train someone else.
To train someone else and start doing fit. But let's say you hire somebody that's trained, right? Yeah. They know what they're doing. They come in and say, "Oh, you know what? I'm improving." We use a VA service of Jamaicans. Just agency, and so they train the VAs. Okay. Right? So they train the VAs, and the VAs come in trained already. So. But now that the VA is coming in and taking over your process, it still takes a week or something, because they have to know your processes. Now, if you don't have any process, you're in the world of problem, right? But let's say you have a process. Now you have to say, okay, I'm not doing that work anymore. What am I doing in my business now? Yeah. What am I focusing on?
Yeah. Okay. I get that. Wow. All right. That makes sense. Hopefully, I hope that is translated, like what you're saying makes sense to those that are listening, because ultimately it is about getting the most out of your time. You know what I'm saying? Because time is more important than money, and you really can't trade time for money. There was a saying back in the day, time is money, right?
Time
And you
money.
can't get an hour back. Like rappers sing that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And it's like, no, they're not of equal value.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that money is like worth less now because it's just so much of it in the
Economy.
it's so much in the system right now.
I was
It's
saying, so it's 50% of all dollars were created in the last 18 months, right? That's what
Pretty
they
much,
say.
pretty
Yeah.
much. So that means that it's worth less now. So now, but your time though, right? Because we all are moving in that one direction, right? Where it's like time has become. They have some people that have, more of their time behind them than they have in front of them, right? Technically speaking, but the idea behind that is like now, you get to own your time, but it's like it's fool's gold sometimes. Like you said, oh, I got employees, I ain't got to do nothing. That's a lie. That's a lie. Like, oh, I could put my feet up and be this boss. That's not. That is a myth, in my opinion. When it comes to, if you really believe in your mission and the vision of your company and your brand, you're always trying to improve. You're always trying to get better. So that, like you said, there are no days off.
Because
They shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. The biggest thing is that you should be to the point where, like you said, you're invested in your mission and vision, right, into the business. And what the fallacy is that people start their business, right? They start their business and say, hey, you know what? I don't want to work for a boss. I hate going to work every day. I don't want, they think that they're going to escape. They think there's a way to escape it. They think
Exactly.
that the 9 to 5. They see the business owner, right? Let's say, so there's days I might come in, we're coming here, right? And it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a schedule, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a schedule, but I do have a schedule though, right? I have to set my schedule. I have to make sure, because you're not seeing the bigger picture. You think that things are getting achieved, but what I do today affects next week.
Absolutely.
Right? Affects, so it's not a burning email that has to go out right now.
Yeah.
And because they have that premise of thinking that, when I become the boss, I can kick my feet up, right? Because when people are asking for their paycheck, right? Hey, there's numbers off. What's going on?
Exactly.
Right? When somebody burns something down, right? Commits an atrocity, something happens in your business, right?
Bills got to get
paid, right?
Yeah,
Do you not think that somebody is looking towards you, right, to do that? And then I believe that one of the biggest problems that we have is what you said, is the mission, vision, and what you're trying to accomplish. And we're in this for the money, instead of being in it for impact. Because if we're not in it to impact our community, right? If we're not saying, hey, how can I deliver value? Because guess what? Wouldn't you be mad if you go into a place and they don't care about you? Right?
Yeah.
You go into a restaurant, you like, and they use
I'm not spending my money.
You're not spending your money there.
Yeah.
But you want to think about your business as all it is. You're just extracting money out of there.
Yeah.
You don't care about, the number one thing is to focus on delivering value. I say, yo, you know what? I'll take a loss right here because I want to make sure that you're good.
Yeah.
Because I know that it'll come back to me tenfold with my reputation.
There you go. Wow. Okay. Keep going, brother. Don't stop. You're on fire.
oh man. I mean, it's just the point of high level CEOs, high level understanding that in we were talking about being a warrior, right? That we're fighting for a cause. Right? In our community, we know how to get money. You know what I'm saying? Like people getting money. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole bunch of stuff out here about getting money, right? You can learn the tricks and trades.
Yeah.
But if we're not trying to make an impact, if we're not trying to actually execute, then and change people's lives, right? Because it's one thing to give a person a job, right? It's like, yo, you got a job, and he comes in and he does his job and he goes home and he comes back, right? He's gonna get frustrated. But if he comes in and says, yo, let me teach you something, where 5 years from now he left the job and he's like, yo, I learned skills there.
Yeah.
I didn't have a job. I learned skills.
Exactly.
Right? Because as long as we never believe that we're holding somebody back, because a lot of times we'll be in a business and we're just like, I want to keep this employee. But if you understand that everybody's at a stage in life, right? I'm trying to get to another level, right?
Yeah.
And there's somebody else trying to get to my level. People look at me and be like, yo, I like what you're doing. You're making it happen, right?
Yeah.
And then now there's other people I'm like, yo, I like what you're doing. You're making it happen, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get there, right? So these are all things. But our goal Because we want to learn from people who are at the next level. Yo, how did you do that? How are you executing? What are you doing?
Exactly.
We have to pass those jewels on to people behind us.
So we have to literally get out the space that we're in, so the next person could come and fill our shoes, so we could go off and grow up. Because if we're holding on like this, then we can never grow.
Never grow.
We can never grow. You know, I think that because even my brother Kaifas, like at the end of the day, we're here trying to improve lives, right? Make impacts on individuals as well as our customers and everybody in between. So it's like I'm willing to do the hard work and the dirty work. You get what I'm saying? And I'm willing to step out of place just to make sure, because at the end of the day, in business you got to make a profit.
Word.
Right? You're supposed to make a profit. It is what it is. As black men in business, as black people in business, we have to go the extra mile. Because we got to understand the complexities of our people, dealing with our people, even from a consumer base, any level. So we have to go into it saying, yo, we can't be this corporate structure mindset. You know what I'm saying? Because it might work across the street, but it can't work over here. We have to figure it out on our own. Once again, this fallacy, this myth that we was taught, like, yo, the CEO, you the boss, you boss people around, you tell them what to do. If they don't listen, you fire them. Like, that is not, you know what I'm saying? That's not how business works in reality. You know, it's like serving. Like, I'm going to read this quote for you real quick, if you don't mind. I saw it, and it, like, rang to me. Shout out to my brother, Ross Kofi. I saw it on your page. So I know you got it from somewhere. He always getting these African parables, you know. It says, if serving is below you, leadership is beyond you.
But that's the fun. You know what's so... And that's what people don't really realize. When you become the CEO, you below everybody. You serve. You're responsible. People don't understand. You're responsible for all these people.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And now you have to make sure everybody's good.
Yeah.
We think of when I tell people, yo, all right. So somebody says, yo, I fired you, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people all the time. I say, yo, I didn't fire you because you affected me. You're affecting the rest of your team. Exactly. You're not in. If I fire somebody, right, which is rare, it's because the rest of the team cannot get along with you. Yeah. Right. The rest of the team cannot be in there. Yeah. They're more. We have it where more of the team does these things because they're out in the field. I'm not out in the field with them, right? Exactly. They're interacting with each other. They deal with each other. So it's not me coming in like, yo, you're fired. No. A lot of times it's the people who are in the field, their own peer pressure, right? Yeah. Because peers are holding them accountable, like, yo, you know, you're not doing your work. So we have to be that's the point of being a warrior, right? This is why I say, yo, it's a warrior, because you're here when you're fighting for something for people. You're on the front line, but we taking this boss thing to think that I said, yo, I don't want to be a slave owner. Exactly. Because that's what the boss mentality has been. Exactly. I can whip you around and have you doing everything. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Like, we think that we come in here, I'm a boss, bro. I order people around. Yeah. I said, yo, fam, are you a slave owner? That's what you want to do? Exactly. You going to take on, you going to take on the traits of your, Nah, we in this to serve people. Bro, we in this here to make sure that we making sure that our people can eat. Big time, bro. I can eat by myself. Big time. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do two things. You can't try to. You want to be able to make sure your people eating, right? And you want to make sure you're contributing to the community. There you go. But we've been taught, because it's an online thing. Ego, and it's ego too, bro. Social media feeds the ego to make you see this life that people. I said, yo, just think about this. You're watching social media. You see a dude posting, right? Yeah. Hours and hours. I said, yo, do you really think that he's posting and selling something, right? He's working, but he's telling you there's no work. Exactly. Tim Ferriss got the 4-hour work week, right? Yeah. I said, how you want so many podcasts? Exactly. How you doing so many shows? More than 4 hours. That's more than 4 hours, man. You see what I'm saying? They ain't like, gonna fool me. Like, if you see the man, he trains, he does all kind of stuff. He's always learning. Like, yo, don't get caught up with these people talking this nonsense. Yeah. Because nobody wants to go sit down on the beach and do nothing. Exactly. That life, you will get bored in 5 minutes. No, I was on the beach a week ago, bro. And the only thing I was thinking is, like, I can't wait to get back to it. You
You know, because I love what I do
Love what
every
you
day.
do.
I love the people that I work with because I don't have employees, bro.
Yeah.
Like I have people that work with me to serve the community,
Word.
bro. Like at the end of the day, I never step. My brother Kiefer said I don't hold people back in anything because I want everybody to be great around me. Because if my circle is great, then that means I'm great. You know, how can we get to that level, man? So like even for me, I don't like I always separate myself from the business first and foremost and the needs of the business, right? And it's like a scorecard. You got to have that scorecard. It's like you have to have things where it's like, yo, if it's a situation where your person wants to raise, well, are you on time? Can I hold you accountable? How consistent you are? Same thing with and everything else in between. If I have to okay, that means like you have abandoned your post essentially, and it's not a bad thing. You get what I'm saying? We're all on this thing called life.
But we're not fit for all positions, though.
And we're not.
Just because that could have been the best thing for your employee. That it wasn't that you let them go.
No, absolutely.
A lot of times we're not fit. People are not fit for certain things. That's just not. I'll be like, yo, listen. It's not a mark on your character.
Yeah.
It's not you're a terrible person, right?
Yeah.
Don't hold that. Just think about this, like, because I always have I think about. I said it's a job, man. It's a job. This is not you as a person.
Exactly.
Right?
Separate yourself.
Separate yourself. You know what I'm saying? I don't hold no personal vendetta against you. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
for how much time we got, my brother?
7 minutes.
Oh, we rolling, baby. We got time. Keep going.
So I don't see. So it's all a job, right? And it's just a job. So because everybody that comes in, I look at. So Jesus says in on the cross, right? He said on the cross, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do.
Yeah.
Right? And now, I'm not a Christian, but I do read all the spiritual parables, right? And one of the things is I look at is everybody here is being programmed. And so when people come on with certain ideologies or they do certain
concepts
things,
and all that.
I'd be like, yo, they programmed, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all programmed. I'm
programmed too, you programmed, but
the only difference is are you trying to program yourself?
Yeah.
Right? Are you working on your system, right? Because some people are they don't know, they're just walking around with a chip in their head, oblivious.
Yeah.
Right? They just got an operating system going on. They don't know where it came from, right? It's just a whole mangler mash of something.
So I got a question. Both of y'all, like, so as far as like y'all talking about it earlier, y'all was like, a lot of us are trying to take on that boss mentality that comes from like slave ownership. So do you think we gotta kind of like have or kind of form like our own like Afrocentric or diasporic blueprint for being owners, if that's the best title to have, or like you think we should have our own like blueprint?
Yeah, so all right, if you're asking me for the blueprint, it's saying that instead of saying owner, we're stewards. You don't own none of this. Exactly. You're gonna go one day. You know what I'm saying? We don't own none of this, right?
This building that we're in, this chair that we in is gonna outlive me.
You see what I'm saying?
This building, you get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's been here before me, and it's gonna outlive me. And that's all we're trying to build, essentially. I think what you're bringing up is a good point because even when we look at Green Love Kitchen as a business, the model we want to have is that everybody that takes their time out to invest their time to put into Green Love to serve the community, we want them to have ownership stake in the company. But we also need to understand that that's not for everybody. You get what I'm saying? Not everybody wants that type of, like my brother was saying, it's easier just to get a job and go home. You know what I'm saying? Get a job real quick, make your money, go home, you collect your check, and you tune it out. When you become an owner, you start thinking for that company because if there's no customers, you have no business, right? Mm-hmm. And in order to get to that point, that took some time. Like, this is 8 years in the making now, what people are seeing. Some people just walk in and say, oh, how you got it like that? I could open up a business too. Or a person look at me and say, yo, you young, you black, you got dressed. That means I could do it. You know what I'm saying? And then they take a shot at it and they wonder why it ain't working. You know what I'm saying? Because we, like you said, we kind of make it look easy. But there's this other work that's taking place when the lights is off. You know what I'm saying?
That's
when the
the
doors are
real
not
work
open. Like, we're closed on Monday, but I'm in there doing production. You know what I'm saying? Juices are being made, baked goods, like sauces, things are happening. So when the doors are open for consumers to come in, they're able to get that experience, that we're looking for. But ultimately, it's about everybody that put their time, and we want to be able to say, oh, look, take this ownership stake that you can pass on to your next generation, because the business has to outlive us. Them jeans, the pants that we have on,
Word.
Timberland, Levi, all these companies. You got companies that started in the 1900s, the 1800s that are still going on, right? And the last conversation we had was about trust. You know, and trust is just so deep because even the word in itself, trust,
Word.
requires some participation on multiple people's part. Like, you know, like even if it's a trust within myself,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
me, myself, and I. But it's like I gotta trust this brother. But the idea is put something that's gonna outlive you. Do something that's gonna outlive you. Green Love Kitchen doesn't belong to me; it belongs to the people. Because if it belonged to me, no one else could come in there and eat that food.
Word.
You get what I'm saying?
You're just a steward. They just
I'm
gave
just
you
a steward.
They just gave you responsibility to be like, yo, you know what? Because you just have responsibility
Exactly.
to make sure everything is good. They're like, yo, we trust you.
Exactly.
And you earn that every day. They're like,
Every
yo,
day.
we out of everybody, there's a whole bunch of rest. We trust you.
Exactly. Time's up, baby.
All right.
Yo, we gonna get a whole nother episode going. We gonna just hit the button real quick. Let everybody know exactly where they can reach you at, man.
You already know every morning for 2023,
Yes.
6 a.m.
Yes.
Black Business Warrior.
Was that Instagram?
Yeah,
Facebook?
at Black Business Warrior, so you can get you on YouTube and Instagram.
Okay.
That's my two channels right there.
Okay.
And
Facebooks? No Facebooks?
I don't really connect on Facebook.
You done changed that up.
Yeah. I'm saying, you know, like it's just understanding where I'm focused at, right? I have a whole nother business that I run, which is my main business, the business of cleaning. So
Yeah.
if you're thinking about cleaning businesses, right?
Yeah.
You want to start know how to scale and grow your cleaning business. Connect with me on Facebook. We have the business of cleaning. Black Business Warrior.
Yeah. Instagram.
I go live every morning,
Yeah.
right? And we can discuss. So every morning. Peace.
There we go. All right, you heard it first, baby. Let's do it. Okay, cool. You can hit that right.